Since January of last year, there were 1,000 fires related to lithium-ion batteries in Australia alone. 9 News Australia reports, cause of ferocious blaze that destroyed Victorian golf clubhouse revealed. A ferocious blaze that destroyed a large golf clubhouse in Victoria's Yarra Valley was caused by charging lithium-ion batteries, firefighters have ruled. The club's management yesterday said it believed the fire started in a storage room where electric buggies and batteries are kept. Fire destroys pro shop at Brisbane Golf Club. Fire has destroyed the pro shop at Brisbane Golf Club, with early reports indicating lithium batteries to blame. Have those blisters healed?
Yeah, they've healed. They kind of dried up. There's one on the top that scabbed a little bit.
Can we see it?
10,000. I don't. I don't think you want to see my toe, but I could send you a picture.
Folks, in probably the most important episode of Big Boy Pants Golf, I've got... He's Australian, and folks, he's lucky to be alive. Great to have you on today.
Thanks, Pants. Looking forward to it.
You are a walker. You have a Motocaddy. You love this Motocaddy, but this Motocaddy doesn't necessarily love you.
Just had the fright of our lives last week sometime. Hadn't played for a month or so. Popped the charger on overnight, which is first mistake, and sadly the battery exploded in the middle of the night.
While you're not supposed to necessarily leave the charger plugged in overnight, it happens, right? And as a consequence of maybe some oversight, it shouldn't be your house burning down.
No. Thankfully, I managed to drag it out of the house just before the house did burn down. There is a lot of soot damage, and we are incredibly lucky we actually heard it go off. But that isn't what you expect from a golf cart battery.
You have nerves of steel. How did you drag this liquid death trap out of your house?
I do have the liquid death trap down here.
Can you show the fans at home? This guy's Aussie. I think if you weren't Aussie, the house is in flames.
I'll have to be careful here. Maybe wear a glove.
Are you able to touch the molten Terminator 2, that section right there? Is that? Wow. I told you this is the most important episode of Big Boy Pants Golf yet. It could save your life. That's in a shoebox. Those are charred remains of a Motocaddy battery. Do you have a glove on right now?
Yeah, I've got a glove on, yeah, because it's toxic.
Do you want to do the Aussie oi oi oi, or should I do it? Who's going to do that right now?
Oh, but because I'm part English, I really can't execute that. But yeah, Aussie oi oi oi. But yeah,
I mean,
not the.
You got the glove on. You're safe. That stuff's toxic. Sure, you can keep it by your desk, but who cares? Let's get more into that evening and the history of Motocaddy.
So basically, I had a Motocaddy in the UK when I was home for some time. Biggest selling brand in Europe, in the UK. Reputable brand, and has worked fine over there. I've got a professional friend who uses them as well and hires them out. So in terms of a brand and a quality of product, usability, fantastic, can't complain. Came back to Australia circa 2021, saw Motocaddy on offer in Costco and pitched it for $1,000. The type was S1, and I've used it for 2 years. Looking up, I've done circa 100 rounds with it, working fine. Battery care, pretty much spot on, but then when you obviously delve into it, if you leave it in a hot car, if you drop it, which I don't think I've ever dropped it, if you submerge it in water, it can compromise the integrity of the battery, which down the line could have problems whilst charging it.
How many of these ticking time bombs are out there? There got to be thousands of Motocaddies sold at Costco, and you don't know what type of conditions are going to set this death trap off.
In terms of it being just Motocaddy, it could be another brand too. I have spoke to other retailers just to delve in a bit deeper about what the problem is with the batteries, and as you can see from some basic research, you can see that Motocaddy obviously know this is an issue, PowerCaddy know it's an issue, MGI know it's an issue. The warning signs are there if you look for them. At point of purchase, there was actually no debrief of battery care or what to do. There is a an envelope with the warranty in and a stack of information, which I thought I was abiding by. But in terms of how many are out there, there's thousands. I know so many people with these, understanding I'm a 37-year-old with an electric assisted caddy, but I do actually enjoy having that burden relieved while I'm playing golf, especially in hot Australia. But I talk to a lot of members, you see them out and about with their motor carts. 9 times out of 10, you ask them where they charge their battery, they're charging them in the house, in the garage, in the bedroom, in the laundry. Ask them when do they charge it, they literally charge, a lot of people charge it all week. Like the old school batteries, you can't do that anymore with lithium ion batteries.
So what are the specific conditions that you're supposed to charge your battery under so that it's quote unquote safe?
Well, preferably not inside a dwelling. If it has to be inside a dwelling, make sure it's not a direct point of exit on an emergency exit. Make sure it's not on a corridor leading to that exit. Do not charge it on carpet. Preferably don't charge it on timber floor either, as I found out to my detriment. There's a big black hole and it's burnt a hole in my timber floor. Ideal conditions is outside in under 30 degrees heat on a slab of concrete. So a shed would be ideal, but then it also needs to be monitored as well. Motocaddy does come with a transformer, which does have a light system on it. That does actually tell you where to. Yeah, it gives you a red and amber light system, which will flash if it's wrong. Obviously, I was asleep. I put it on at 9 p.m. and it went off at 5 a.m. So I've not seen that. So if you are charging it in a shed or a garage, make sure that you're monitoring it throughout the day and do not go to sleep with it on charge.
You just had a newborn too.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. Obviously, partner and newborn got out the front door, which was good. The fire was near the back door, but the amount of fumes that it actually emitted, if we hadn't woken up immediately, it wouldn't have been pleasant.
To me, this seems like it's a disaster waiting to happen. That's why we have to get the word out. Now tell us more about the general situation right after you realized that there's this fire, your wife and your newborn get out, you get your hands on this thing. Now what do you do?
You can't touch it. Like, it literally woke us up with a rip and a bang, a very loud bang. Thankfully, we were home and we heard it. Ran through not in the largest dwelling, but ran through the house. It was orange, basically, and this battery was in the corner like a firework box, just going. I told my partner and baby to get out of the house with the dog. Thank God the dog got out too, because her bed was on fire. It was right next to where the battery was charging, so thankfully she came to the bedroom in the middle of the night, unplugged it, got a tea towel, dampened the tea towel and popped it on top of the battery, but even that doesn't suppress the flames. It creates its own oxygen within the release of gases that it makes. It makes these hydrogen gases that then ignite with a spark or a flame, and that's what creates the constant firing of the cells, basically. All those little battery cells are the ones that are exploding. Unbeknownst to me at the time, I just saw this firework box in the corner of the house. Thought, I can't believe that's my golf battery, and put the wet tea towel on it, unplugged it, and I was just dragging it with the cable. You can't go near it. It's thousands of degrees. There's plastic and metal on the floor. It just spits it out. I've pulled it over the step and just dragged it out of the house. Ran back through the house, which was full of smoke. Like if you've seen them on YouTube videos, obviously there's a lot of press about EVs at the moment going up, not so much press about e-bikes, laptops, scooters, skateboards and things like that going up, but it was a lot of smoke just from a small device. I ran out the front door, fire brigade came within 5 minutes, which was fantastic, and it was still popping off in the back garden. Like, our outdoor furniture's got molten holes in it, burnt holes where it was actually still firing off. They've just literally picked it up with a tool and just popped it in a bird bath. It's the only way you can put it out or suppress the flames, just putting it in a bath of water.
That should be on the warning box, that it creates its own oxygen. Did you suffer any injuries when you were handling it or leaving the house? Yeah,
well, when I was pulling it out of the house and getting the blanket to put over the device, basically I ingested quite a lot of soot, so there was a black mark around my mouth where I'd actually breathed in these toxic fumes, which include hydrogen cyanide, of all things. If you actually look up the toxins within the smoke, it is quite dangerous, and that will incapacitate you quite quickly if you are stuck within a dwelling and you can't get out.
How are your lungs and your vision doing right now?
They're fine. They're fine. I was a little bit groggy for, an hour or so, but yeah, totally fine. The house is not fine. Like, the fumes can, be retained within cushions on couches, materials that are around. It needs a full clean and replacement of, television, cabinets, table, couch.
Don't
carpet.
those toxins stay in the wall still? I'd be concerned because, you have first-hand smoke, second-hand smoke, and then you have the third hand, which is like in all the tapestry and the walls. And to me, I'm concerned that lithium ion death cocktail, there's still some sentiments in your walls and your other areas.
If you put the mixture up, or the what is actually produced, on the video, then you can see. But yeah, the insurance is going to do a toxicology test on the house.
I would like to get a follow-up episode where we go through the toxicology reports with you. Can we do that?
Yes, as long as it doesn't detrimentally affect the value of my home.
We will not list the address. It'll just be about the toxicology report. And we might have to get a third party in there, a scientist, to really be like, you're going to grow a third eyeball.
It's like molten lava. It's like tin foil that just fires everywhere with the plastic. Like half the plastic from the batteries disappeared around the house and gone outside. And that was all on the floor. So there's like pop marks on the floor, and I've just run across that to actually get it out. Thankfully, it didn't explode in my face.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Better Every Shift podcast. I am your host, Aaron Zamzow. I am a fire lieutenant. I actually just had a house fire that was started by lithium-ion batteries. It was a hoverboard. That would have been cool too. Hoverboard in a garage that started on fire.
What did the fire brigade say about how often they're encountering these lithium-ion battery explosions? And do they have protocols set in place right now to deal with it? Or is it just a dude with tongs throwing it in some water?
They went in with full BA systems because the smoke was so thick out the back. They do have the tongs, and they find the nearest bath, pond, swimming pool, whatever it might be, to drop it in, and that will submerge it. The chief fireman said to me that it feels like 1 in 2 call-outs at the moment are for lithium-ion batteries. Obviously, I live in a city area, so there's a lot of electric bikes and scooters that are obviously parked within dwellings, and they just said it will keep them in a job for a long, long time to come.
That's insane. In terms of the notice that these companies have, you're telling me earlier that they have already noticed that this nightmare situation is occurring. Do you think they're taking the proper precautions to let the people know what they need to do to be safer, even though it's inherently not safe? Because you're going to have people having some kind of oversight. You're going to forget the batteries plugged in overnight. And people, in a lot of places live on top of each other. If your neighbor 2 doors down is charging one of these death traps, the whole neighborhood goes up.
Pretty much. Like, sadly, in Australia, 2 people died in New South Wales just last week, and it was believed that it was an e-bike parked by a door. 2 managed to get out and 2 got stuck. Again, yeah, it's the warnings aren't there in the retail level. In terms of your websites that you'll buy these off, even Costco. I mean, there was obviously, you just scan it through a desk, go home, and it's up to your own research and devices how well you look through the instructions.
There should be warnings on that box that says, "Get out of the house. Sorry, your house is done," but don't put a blanket on it, because with fires in the kitchen, not to throw.
Yeah, I thought it was like that. Like, it was like a chip pan fire where you just go, boop. Yeah.
It's almost counterintuitive to what you've been trained for other things, which could really mess things up for you very quickly. And that's why it's so important. You almost need some type of safety training to have these in your house.
Yeah, pretty much. It'd be safer just to have a tub of, a jerry can of petrol in the corner of your house with its sealed cap on.
With a chain smoker sitting right by it, right? That's safer than these lithium-ion nightmares.
It was just a small lithium-ion battery in a rangefinder. Left it in the car by the window. Sun's beating down on it. It's gone to I don't know what it would be in America, but over 120 degrees, say Fahrenheit. It'd be like over 50. It'd be like 40 degrees centigrade in Australia, and it's heated that battery up and blown it up. And then once it's ruptured, you jump in the car and turn the car on. You can get badly burned.
The only temperature we recognize in the USA is the temperature of freedom.
That's it. You would typically keep one of these batteries for, 4 or 5 years. Reading between the lines, that's just too long to keep it. It just sounds like the integrity of the battery will be broken quite quickly, especially, it doesn't matter whether you're in the UK, America, or Australia. You've got wet, cold, hot conditions that might change the integrity of the battery, and you don't know whether it has done or not unless you fully dropped it or fully submerged it. Left it in your car on a hot day. How many times do you finish a round of golf, go for a couple of drinks with the boys, and leave your car overnight at the club, and you've just left your battery in a car all afternoon with the sun on it, and it's gone up to 60 degrees in the car?
Did the fire department kind of consider you a hero brethren because you saved lives?
They said we were incredibly lucky. Their advice is not to go near them. Do not go near them. Don't put water on them. Don't put towels on them. If you think that a fire blanket's going to save you, that doesn't save you, because once you put it over the top, that then puts the gases back into the device. They call it thermal runaway. So that's why when you see phone batteries expand and blow up when they're in the heat, similar kind of thing happens. So that gas is there ready to go. So if you cover it, and it'll just suppress the gas, and then it will ignite, and it will be an even bigger bang. If you don't know that you've had thermal runaway and it isn't plugged in, it only takes something else to ignite that fire. And that's where you can get quite bad burns.
I know now that another industry that's interested in this would be the insurance industry. How are they reacting to the fact that these human death traps are out there, here, there, e-bikes, laptops? Lithium ion explodes and kills. And we're all living in this false sense of security right now.
I don't think the knowledge is out there either. I've spoken to friends and they don't even know that their laptops and phones have lithium-ion batteries in them. They don't even know that now, and that's been quite widely reported. In terms of insurance, the contact I have over here, who's been great, to be fair, working with Motocaddy as well. Sadly, his business was burnt down by a defaulting battery, fully smoked out, and he was saying that it's becoming more prevalent with insurance policies in the small print that you will not be covered if it is a lithium-ion battery fire within your dwelling or your business. So it's always worthwhile checking what your policy states and what the actual rules are in terms of, if you have a battery within the house that is charging, will you be covered for that accident that happens?
And look for the little lithium ion asterisk in there, because we don't want you to lose your business and even more, your life.
Yeah, and I was looking as well on the internet, and I saw that Chicago have just brought in a law limiting the amount of lithium-ion batteries you can have within a dwelling. I don't know if that happens in jurisdictions across America. It hasn't actually taken into act in Australia yet. Hasn't been any laws passed, but I know that is something that the government is looking into, because the pressure on the fire resources, construction and maintenance is just too much. It's just too much of a risk to have too many devices on charge at one time. When you look on Google News and you type in lithium battery fire, you see there has been a lot of fires locally at local level, and it is reported. And a lot of the time it is tradespeople coming back with tools, golfers just parking up, taking out the battery, popping it in the garage. Pets and family have been affected by this. It's not something you can take lightly.
I consider you the subject matter expert on this because I know you've done the research and you've been through it firsthand. Where can the folks at home reach you?
I'll set up an Instagram. I'll put it on I'll set it up this week, and when you put the video up, I'll just post up news articles and awareness for lithium community. I know it probably will be the uncoolest Instagram, but I just think that if we can keep that rolling over, that will be pretty handy. Other than that, I haven't got any other resources, because it literally just happened to us last week. I communicate with yourself now and again just regarding golf issues, which we enjoy. But yeah, it really did sour the occasion of everything, really, just because it's golf related, and it was a product that I take pride in. I liked it, so yeah, it was quite shocking. But yeah, when you scratch the surface, it's just the awareness just isn't there.
When you told me this happened, I knew this had to be immediately the episode. You're going to be the guy. We're going to continue pushing forward to all these golf cart death trap manufacturers, and we want answers, and we want to know, when is the insanity going to stop?
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see what safety precautions they put in their new products. The brand have got back to me and said that they will replace it with the most recent up-to-date trolley. Again, I don't know how I can keep that integrity of the battery safe. What are the safeguards they've put in place from that day? It just seems to me that the companies are just sharing the awareness that they are aware of these incidents and they are dangerous products. But again, it's just not hitting that ground level at golf club level. We've had 4 clubhouses in Australia have burnt down. There was a massive clubhouse, the Eastern Golf Club in Australia, Greg Norman design course, literally burnt to the ground on a lithium battery. I don't know the cause of that, whether it was overcharged, whether it was left on and overheated. But yeah, you're talking about a multi-million-dollar clubhouse that's just burnt down. Thankfully, nobody was injured or died. But again, these small-scale ones, if you only have one exit or one entry to the building, you're in trouble. The firemen also said to me, they did have a seminar recently on it, and the awareness within the fire brigade is there's a lot of conjecture how to combat these fires. If you can't pick up the battery and submerge it, how do you actually stop the fire? But the person running that seminar said, why are they even a thing? How have they even become part and parcel of everyday life? They're so dangerous that they shouldn't even be around.
There are literally millions of these gizmo and devices out there with lithium-ion batteries. Imagine the movie Transformers 4, where every little device, instead of turning into a robot, it turns into an explosion that if you throw a blanket on top of it, it makes that explosion more powerful.
Pretty much. It's not a nice thought, I have to say. And, if I'd have been a bit more, say I'd had a couple of beers, say I was a bit older, a bit younger, and you can't actually get up and get around it, or if we were in a 2-story house, we'd be in a lot of trouble. And, that's where a lot of these batteries are stored.
Folks, here's a comprehensive list of items I want you to check right now so it doesn't have to go over and save your ass.
Yeah, and you don't become a statistic.